Legal documents, bank approvals, and corporate letters were arranged on the desk. Daniel's face was still viral on media front pages and online headlines. Investors' and employees' confidence levels were sky high. Aisha officially had Daniel's personal and corporate illegal transactions recorded through the internal audit and gave directives to the lawyers that not a single loophole should be left. Simultaneously, she assigned a team to monitor Daniel's social media and press appearances. Every step had to be tracked. Daniel was everywhere in panic, confused, and helpless, with former associates and media's questions. Aisha calmly scheduled her first press conference, where she publicly declared that Sheikhpur infrastructure was now fully under legal and ethical hands. The trust of investors and employees was restored. Daniel's former network one by one terminated their relationships with him. Aisha simultaneously secured court approvals to freeze Daniel's private assets. Daniel made every attempt to find legal loopholes, but Aisha's team and Fletcher Bloit's lawyers were perfectly aligned. Daniel's every move was tracked and blocked. Aisha instructed her team that all of Daniel's previous contracts, insider deals, and fraudulent transactions be documented and secured in public record. Daniel's social and corporate reputation fully collapsed. Employees and investors were now openly standing with Aisha's leadership. Aisha called her father and said, "Dad, now Daniel is completely in our control. What's the plan ahead?" Fletcher calmly replied, "Daughter, now Daniel will learn the biggest lesson, and new opportunities will open for you. Have patience, and the timing must be perfect." Aisha organized a detailed strategy session where all potential moves of Daniel and counter strategies were listed. Then she sent Daniel a formal legal notice stating that his CEO and managerial access was terminated, and he could not use any company resources or influence. With clear evidence in front of investors and media, Daniel's panic level was at maximum. He was now publicly facing the collapse of his ego and power. Aisha's next move was meeting Daniel's former board allies and high-profile contacts individually and convincing them that Daniel's influence was finished and risky. All investors and partners began trusting Aisha's control and vision. Every excuse and threat from Daniel was failing. Aisha simultaneously completed the final audit of Daniel's personal properties and accounts and secured freeze instructions through legal authorities. Daniel was helplessly blocked in every direction. Aisha directed the corporate media team to release a public announcement. Sheikhpur infrastructure now fully secured under ethical leadership of CEO Aisha Bloit, former executives terminated for mismanagement. Headlines across newspapers and online portals highlighted Daniel's humiliation and Aisha's power. Daniel literally could not respond. Aisha finalized company expansion and growth projects with her executive team, and during the press conference, she detailed the future roadmap for investors. Daniel's former allies and media representatives were confused and stunned. Before Aisha's confidence and clarity, Daniel's credibility and ego vanished. Then, for personal closure, Aisha called Daniel for a final meeting, where she calmly introduced, "Daniel, this is the final lesson for you, the exact balance of 10 years of injustice and arrogance." She placed every document and proof in front of Daniel, displaying evidence of every fraud and illegal step. Daniel pale and helpless. Aisha explained every move within legal and corporate boundaries. Investors and board representatives were also present. Daniel's face collapsed. Everyone realized that now every action of Daniel was legally and socially blocked. Aisha softly but firmly said, "And now, Daniel, there is only one option for you: complete withdrawal and apology. Otherwise, the legal and corporate consequences are unstoppable." Daniel's ego was now completely shattered. He was realizing the consequences of his arrogance and mistakes. Aisha introduced the final twist. All of Daniel's previous illegal assets and misused funds were redirected for the benefit of the company and employees, with proof in front of the public and investors. Daniel's image and power permanently destroyed. Aisha became an example of integrity and strategic mind. With staff and investors, Aisha held a celebratory meeting where everyone showed respect and awe for Daniel's collapse and Aisha's victory. Aisha calmly announced that the company's focus would now be only on growth, employee welfare, and transparency. Daniel's legacy and arrogance were publicly documented and terminated. Then Aisha went to the office terrace and among the city lights said to herself, "This was only the beginning. The perfect balance of justice and power will always be remembered." Calmness and fire were permanently established in her eyes, and she finally felt complete closure for the 10-year injustice and humiliation. Daniel literally powerless, facing public and legal consequences, accepting Aisha's strategic and moral victory. Investors and media publicly recognized Aisha's leadership and courage. Employees and partners confidently aligned for the future. Daniel's social, professional, and personal empire completely collapsed, and Aisha started the next growth and expansion projects with her father and team. Now Aisha's empire was built not just on revenge, but on a sustainable, ethical, and powerful legacy, setting a perfect example for the city and corporate world. Daniel's name only remaining as history and a lesson, and Aisha finally feeling fully free, respected, and empowered. The cold satisfaction of revenge and the warm satisfaction of justice, and her life now confidently moving in a new direction. And this time, no ego, arrogance, or injustice would come in her path. Aisha's empire and personal closure, a perfect combination of power, strategy, and moral justice. And Daniel's complete downfall, now permanent and irreversible.